live on air.
Make massive moves.
There isn't any time to waste then.
We can't save everyone in this war.
One moment, that's all we got.
You're locked in here with me.
Make massive moves with Starside.
I want you to eat healthy food because it's delicious.
Make massive moves.
Would you like another one? I love it. I love this soup. This is amazing. The grits are so creamy. Oh.
I take pride in my grits.
So flavorful.
I think that looks wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so incredible.
Make massive moves with Starside. Make massive moves.
Isn't that your daughter's bib? But the truth is, I feel like Arabella's always with me.
Don't you ever forget this man's face. He killed your brother.
Don't shoot! Please don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Make massive moves with Starside.
Welcome all one more time here on your program on Sankofa, live from Johannesburg, South Africa, Galaxy Universal Network, and your program is Sankofa. Your host is Maponga J, with me tonight in studio, beautiful guests. Music has always been the language of the spirit. And wherever the music is, in the African drum, as long as people are singing and they're talking and they are sharing the greater part of their experiences as Africans, it is very important that we look back into the African culture and find that music kept us alive. And this same music gives precedence to the name Sangoma. Sangoma, the one who owns the song. The song is the ngoma. In Shona, ngoma is the drum. Therefore, the one who heals with the drum. And every time in the village, in the distance past, when you would be hearing the sound of the drum, people would start gathering together. There could be a ceremony. There could be a drinking party. There could be an acceptance of a child who has just been born. It could be anything else that is happening. But when you hear the sound of the drum and the kudu horn, you knew that something is going down in the community. And with me tonight, I got quite a unique collage of fellow South Africans here who are sharing with us. And you heard the song that they were chanting here, Kudala Kudala Lingshlupa Indlozi, Kudala Lingshlupa Indlozi. We want to find out, can't Indlozi Leli Elishlupa Mundu Kudala Limshlupelane Enklek Inaba Mukulu Beslupa and Jezinga Sebensani Nabokashle. On my right here is Usis Intabiseng Agushoke Ukimang Intabiseng.
Thokoza mkhulu. Mina ngiwuNtabiseng wakaheshani ngiyumsotho.
Kumsotho. Agusho isithakazelo
Mailanyathela mathunya unkopani ngwanyana wami uSithethlana yasaje silatsa. Thokoza.
Kusho ukuthi nosaje silatsa ke silatsa ke.
Thokoza mkhulu silatsa ke ukudla kwezolo.
Oh.
Thokoza.
You see that her totem says she does not eat food that was left over last night. She only eats fresh food.
Thokoza mkhulu.
Wow.
Thokoza.
That's beautiful.
Thokoza mkhulu edlozini ngiugogo langa libalele insizwa kampande zemithi mafele endleleni mkhanya kuthi.
Mkhanya kuthi.
Thokoza.
Siyabonga.
Thokoza.
Ngizoyilahlela induku ngapha umuntu omdala. Akusho ke akuzithuthe akusho akuzisho ke ngubani ke wena?
Oh emakhosini. Ngegama ngosifiso ngakandlela.
Indlela.
Yeah ngigedla. La kwandlela. Yeah ngihamba nabogogo bami abonkomo yazulu abahlula ngephi. Nenkosi yami umkhanya kude.
Umkhanya kude.
Yeah.
Asigcine ke ngenkosi yethu umkhanya kude ke. Akusho ke umkhanya kude, who is he, where is he, what is he, what does he do, what does he not do, and what does he what keeps him awake at night?
Thokoza. Thokoza khehla lami. Ngalibizo ke imkhanya ke Tebuwo. O tswalwang ke ba ha Montsha le ba Modise. Ke mo kgahla ke mo fukeng ke mo kwena ke mo Taung. Ka ledlozing ke mkhulu mkhanya kude. Mafele endleleni insizwa kampande zemithi. Setlharisi ke sejetse kwa machangane giyani. Gogo kwakwesikephula uke kwesikephula waka Mbuyane abo Mahlasela abo Siduka Amanzi umnikazi wempande uMaphapha Ngenyoni and then ngapha ke ngine inkosi yami enye futhi ubaba Sonkindaba no baba Mphathi baba Mphathi uJack Palmer no umfazi wakhe ngoMphathi ke.
Wow. Beautiful. What an illustrious history here. We are collecting. People are telling us their totems. They're telling us where they are coming from, their roots, their connectivity of their ancestral roots from their grandfathers to their fathers. And I can hear in the language there that they are coming from the greater families of herbalists. They're the ones who are assisting people as they are going through the paths. Some of them are professional chemists. These are our traditional pharmacists, actually, who have the gift of sniffing around the bush and finding those herbs for the healing of the nation. And I want us today maybe to have a quick discussion and lots of performance. I just want to maybe sit back also sometimes and bask in the sunshine of experience as you take me through some of your experiences as to how did you end up here and how are you doing what you're doing and how much and what are you contributing towards the greater development of the African continent and beyond.
I was born in Lesotho. You know, my father is a very, very Lesotho man. He was a very, very Lesotho man, and my mother was also from Lesotho. You know, my grandparents, from both my mother's side and my father's side, Kibasotho. And, it so happened that in the early years, my grandmothers and my grandfather, they then moved to South Africa. And from there, in South Africa, they moved to Kimberley. So that's where I shared, the greater part of my life. Of my junior life. And then in Gauteng province after I matriculated in Kimberley, then I moved to Gauteng province. And that's where I'm from, my history, my grandmother was very, very big traditional healer, very well known, not famous, but well known, and her work was very good in terms of healing, in terms of advising ukutwasisa, and so ke hola ke le nyangwabe.
So in the house you just see people coming in and people,
not just seeing people coming in, I was actually active, participating
in helping people they were crossing over.
Yeah, so mina ubnyanga, ubsangoma, it's nothing new to me. I've been in it since. I think since I opened my eyes, because
that was there.
It was there, and I became part of it because it was there. So I took part in terms of even training amatwasa wagagogo, and
at an early age.
Yeah, at very, very early age. I was very young, and I was doing intlolo, and then I would go with amatwasa in and we would diagnose.
Is like you put the various the bones and etc. and you start reading them.
Reading the bones.
And at an early age you could actually start reading.
I think I was around about 9 years, 10 years when I actually learned the bones, how to read the bones.
Wow.
And
what is in the bones? What is in the bones? What is in the bones?
It's a divine, like the bones are so divine. Like there's indaba, sabogogo. Like
they are written in the bones.
They are written in the bones. You can see the bones and you can read what is actually, what the spirit is actually saying, the giving you the messages that you should be delivering to whoever that they cannot connect with. So the bones are there for you to can connect with the spirit guides, and the spirits through you can then convey the messages to the person who they cannot connect with. So yeah, that's basically how I've grown up. And then I also used to go to the field, to
pick up some shrubs,
some herbs, some herbs. I would wake up.
What's the tradition when you're picking up herbs? What must you do?
Oh yeah, go like wachega. Ne ke lo cheka ditlhare nna hantle ntle ne ke lo cheka ditlhare with my grandmother would actually wake me up in very, very early. And then there was this other igedla, umkhulu, that is now, I think guiding me in terms of what to mix, how to do the things, and he was this short, So, I miss him sometimes. I really miss him because he was the person that would take me to the field and then and then he would then teach me and the reason why semela ka tlase is because of whatever reason and how to use it.
So he started off doing the traditional indigenous healing sessions as early as 9 years old. He started learning how to read the bones, and he grew up in the family where the grandmother was actually a traditional sangoma and helping other people also to accept their calling. And he remembers very fondly an old man they used to work with, and he giggles when he says his name was Tikolosh. Not that he was a Tikolosh, but maybe because he was this short man. This old man would take him around the veld and then teach him how shrubs are growing. This one going down, this one growing up, and when you are harvesting these herbs, what type of language must you be using as you are harvesting these herbs? You don't just go to the bush with a panga and you chop trees.
You don't.
What do you do before you harvest anything in the bush?
Actually, that's what people do, and as a mistake, they just go and then they start, just killing life, thinking that they're going to take that and give it to someone else. It doesn't work like that. It doesn't work like that.
How does it work?
When you go to when you go to the field
when you're entering into the field.
When you're entering, there's a process that you must do. Mele utele.
What is utele? You must ask.
You must ask.
You must ask.
You must ask for permission
to access the field.
To access that field. To access that particular grounds, because those are not just grounds. That's where life is. You understand? So you have to kneel down and then basically.
Holy ground.
This is a holy ground. So may you please allow me to take what I'm supposed to take here so that I can go use it for the right reasons. So that I must go and heal people through what was created by the Almighty Himself. You understand? That was, what we used to do. We would take snake, we would take pash, and then go there,
the small little ritual.
A small ritual. And
before you dig a herb, what must you do?
Before you dig,
you finally get there and you find here's the herb that you want.
You tell it, you ask it now, you talk to it. Ke tlo kopa bohlale ba badimo gore ba mpontshe gore moriana o hantle ntle tlamele ke lo sebedisa jwang tlamele ke o sebedisetse eng, and then that's when o qalang onka whatever that that you use for digging, and then that's when you start and then that's when and then that's where you then go and then you start as you are digging. Throughout the process you talk to it. It's like you're talking to the universe. It's like you're talking to the universe and you actually asking to use this. You are asking to, because it's not yours as well. You found it there and you are given the permission because you asked it
to do so.
Yeah.
Wow. And in some cases, you must actually cut another shrub somewhere and plant it somewhere before you harvest.
So that you don't kill.
So there's a preservation.
Nature towards.
And there's a problem, I must say, with some of our govelas now who are into commercialization, who just go to the mountains because they know the herbs. They go there with the thing and they just go there and rip 2, 3, 4 times later, you find these herbs have disappeared.
Let me tell you, what you are saying is so true, because if I remember correctly, there's guy that my grandmother used to send me with. You know, the reason why we actually don't have a lot of indigenous plants anymore is because back then we just used to take. They used to take. And then they used to take from nature. They used to just take, and that is the reason why now we have a problem, you know, a scarcity problem of
certain herbs.
Is because our elders they just used to take and not put back.
Let me go back to you, sir. According to you as a Govela, what experiences can you share with us in terms of harvesting indigenous plants and herbs?
Mina engakushare ngumuthi kukhulu umuthi uyakumamela.
Medicine and herbs have an ear. They listen.
Uyakumamela wena umuntu usebenzisayo.
The one who is using the medicines and the herbs.
And then umuthi uya ngebelief yomuntu.
The herb goes with belief to the one who is receiving it.
And wena mangabe ngisebenzisela umuthi ngithi kuwe ngizokwenzela kanje, even though ngakunika utshani ngithi kuwe napha utshani, if ever you believe ukuthi utshani lo buzokunceda buzokunceda.
Faith goes ahead of all herbs. Even if I give you a piece of grass, and if I say this grass will perform this, if you believe that this herb will perform that, that herb will perform that. And according to your explanation?
I also agree no mkhulu ukuthi umuthi vele uyawuthuma, so whenever you want to use it you have to tell and ask it to do the thing that it's supposed to do. Otherwise it won't happen. Also you need to believe, and also the person that you're giving it to needs to believe in whatever you're giving them so that it must work. So it's the same as Umkhulu says.
Beautiful. Let me come back to you. What you're explaining here is a perfect, pure, clean way of working with herbs. Then where do we find these things that a Govela or a Sangoma can actually give someone muti to destroy when they were asking for the muti in the bush? Utema land. Why I will use this thing to heal the people. And then you end up using these herbs to destroy. Where did the purity of I'm entering into a holy ground? You end up entering into a dirty space where I don't want my husband to leave me. Now so it's now witchcraft now. It is moved away from healing to something else. Where does the problem, where do we miss it?
Remember, Keshalami, when for me life or universe it's an energy that doesn't have yes or no. You instruct it, it's neutral. So whatever you ask it,
it will do that.
It will do that. It will provide, it will give. So when you ask go and do one, and you give it you give instruction to it, it will go and perform exactly that. That's, for me, that's how the universe, you know, that's the communication between ourselves as human beings and this energy, this living energy that doesn't know yes or no.
All right. I want us to hold it right there. So now let me bring some context, because I'm aware many of you guys who are watching on our show here, you're coming from a Judeo-Christian background. You might think what we're discussing here has nothing to do with you, but it's for the same reason that when you put your food on the table and you start praying, why are you praying? Because you are saying for what we are about to receive. May Lord make us truly thankful. We pray for this food, that as it enters into our bodies, it will give us health. So basically you are speaking to Papa, which is, you're speaking to Morocco, you're speaking to Nama, you're speaking to all those shrubs and nature, food that is here, which is nature. And then you speak to the food, so that when it comes into you, it performs the same miracle that you want it to perform. Secondly, even on drinking water. Many people might think that water is just water. Water has memory. Water and blood have memory of this ancient times and the past. It keeps the DNA of nature and your own DNA. So when you're even drinking a simple thing as water, you can actually, even in a moment when you're not feeling well, you're feeling sick, you can actually tell this water, please, when you enter here, there are places where you're going to reach in this body which are not fine. When you get there, Please
fix.
Please fix what must be fixed. This now speaks to your headaches, your stomach aches, your back, because this water you're drinking right now is actually going in a few seconds.
You gave it
will be
life.
exactly at the place where the pain is. So nature is alive and nature must be spoken to. When you come back after the break, we'll get one or two songs in terms of a performance and some few chants and get some few tips around this greater ancient indigenous knowledge system. Don't go away. We'll be right back.
Make massive moves.
There isn't any time to waste then.
We can't save everyone in this war.
One moment, that's all we got.
You're locked in here with me.
Make massive moves with Starsight.
I want you to eat healthy food because it's delicious.
Make massive moves.
Would you like another one? I love it. I love this soup. This is amazing. The grits are so creamy. Oh,
I take pride in my grits.
so flavorful.
I think that looks wonderful.
Yeah.
It's so incredible.
Make massive moves with Starsight. Make massive moves.
Isn't that your daughter's bib? But the truth is, I feel like Arabella's always with me.
Don't you ever forget this man's face. He killed your brother.
Don't shoot! Please don't shoot! Don't shoot!
Make massive moves with Starsight. Make massive moves.
The space race has already started. Russia had got the first object into space.
The coast is as wild today as it was when Europeans settled the continent.
Enormous beasts with enormous thirst. The teams are primed and ready.
They got the first animal into space, and they got the first person.
Time to see what the boys can do.
Make massive moves with Starsight.
Thokoza mafele endleleni siyabonga. Nawe mkhanya kude siyabonga. Maniqhamuka ngenjabulo makhehle. Thokozani nina makhehle. Thokozani abantu badala. Indoda yomndeni yenza kanjalo thokozani. Thokoza. Thokoza.
Tech Talk brought to you by Tamani Technologies and Systems. Tamani Technologies and Systems takes leadership in fourth industrial revolution. The whole world is facing a transformation. The revolution will be developed into the following stages: digitization, cyber security, Internet of Things, managed services, document management, and business applications. We provide business transformation and ICT solutions with presence in 13 African countries and 2 European countries. We are your leading partner in integrated platform providers, innovation leaders, standalone products, and innovation pace setters. Tamani Technologies and Systems, delivering value across continents.
Ingwe Mawala, the song that you've just been listening to by Mkanya Kude and the team that are on the house here, showing us and sharing with us the beautiful, beautiful African culture. What inspires this music? It's quite different. I mean, I can see you've got a bit of a DJing stuff. It's almost like a crossover for me. You know, initially we expected gudu, but this time around it's like we got someone.
We actually
New age,
But what led you towards this sound? It's like you're taking the new and the old and bringing it to the middle of the road.
That's exactly what we're trying to do. Remember, Kuluguti, we are a kind of like a lost generation. There's a gap. There's a huge gap, you know, between our generation and the generation that we come from, like our elders. So now, because of what is happening now, which I think is going to be affecting what is going to be happening in the future, you know, I mean, I always tell my friends that I see a big wave coming, you know, of change that our elders are not going to understand, and our children are also not going to understand where we come from, where their parents come from, you know, in terms of history, in terms of Ubuntu, Boto, like there's a huge disturbance and a gap. So that's what we're trying to fuse. I'm trying not to get rid of the past, which is, you know, our ways, our elders, how our elders used to chant, how they used to celebrate, how they used to moan, how they used to, you know, share their sorrows. You understand? So there was a special way which I think got lost in the process of, you know, this new generation that is now being born and that is now coming in, especially in music. You know, so we're trying to fuse the two. To fuse the two so that my children and my grandchildren are not very much, you know, dwelling in, you know, swimming in a river of confusion, so to say. So that's what I'm trying to.
Sanitizing the space.
Exactly.
Let's move over to this other critical part. I'm coming from a religious background, and not intentionally.
I understand you perfectly.
And I know sometimes when we are looking at the African child, we become judgmental. Hey, but you forget this orientation. If you are born in a house where what is the next profession you're going to be doing? Most likely
along those lines.
Fortunate enough in your space where you grow up in a house where it's not taboo. Snuff and sniffing is not taboo. Walking in the bush and getting herbs and etc. It's not taboo. It's part of your system. It's not taught. And now here we are, two different people meeting at the age of 30 or 40. Totally different orientations. And I think sometimes we lack that understanding that says to us, we have been oriented differently and our tolerance levels towards each other are a bit chaotic. Now, I'm saying I'm coming from the religious background. Right now we have, if I'm not mistaken, the Living Waters is in trouble. Omotoso is in trouble. Bushiri is in trouble. Likau is in trouble. Sondo is in trouble. The list can go on and on. These are religious leaders. In their own ways, or the other human rights commissions and other bodies are not happy with various complaints that have come from those various bodies because there were irregularities that were happening within the Christian space, using the name of Jesus, using the church program, but to drive a different agenda.
Drive it differently, yeah.
Now, I want to swing the bet and move to the other side. That in as much as we have all this chaos happening in the Christian space, we also have problems. I want us to maybe to become very honest, because I think as a society, we needed to start pulling people from both sides and say, in traditional healing and etc., there are good things that are happening here, but surely
there are bad things as well.
There are bad things.
Very bad things here.
On the Christian space here, there could be good things that are happening there, where people are building schools, they're building roads, they're praying for people, but if you look closer again, there is a hell lot of bad things that are happening also here. But since the Christians are not here, let's put them in the back foot and look at some of the irregularities that are happening within the greater indigenous medicine space. Number one, the issue of ukutwasisana. What sort of politics goes around there? What are the do's and don'ts? I like your background, because it gives us enough, it gives me enough confidence to throw these things on your face. So looking at your background, you have seen hundreds of people coming through your grandmother's yard. What are the do's and don'ts? If someone wants to twasa, for example, and they're looking for a govela, or they're looking for someone to help them twasa, you could shoot. What do you want to tell them? Watch out for this, watch out for this. If govela says this, that's a red flag. If this is happening, that is wrong. If this is happening, that is wrong. Abuse is happening. Some are being sodomized, some are being raped, some are being overcharged monies, some are being forced to become Sankovas, when in fact their calling is not Sankova. It's just alignment of their spirit with their ancestry, because maybe you are a poet, maybe you are a musician, maybe you are a king, maybe you are something else. It doesn't mean that when uhlutshwa indlozi long as it's like one shoe fits all. Once ungahlutshwa indlozi, now you must start worrying that I want us to be frank. I want us to open our minds and let's talk about this thing, because I think there's some issues that we need to address.
I think the first thing is, we are living in a society that is, I think, confused, stubborn, and greedy.
Yeah.
And when I say confused, we come from a very politically, we were brainwashed. Number one, that's what that's our first point of where we are now. This confusion that we are in, it's because we were brainwashed as black people.
Thoroughly.
Yeah, bad, very bad. And we have not healed from that situation. That is why we are still living in this confusion of knowing what what is idlozi? Because there's this term of idlozi, but people don't understand what idlozi is. That is why we would now find spiritual people fighting amongst each other, like Christians fighting over, fighting with Awangoma, and then Awangoma fighting with Christians. But we are all spiritual people, you understand? But we don't know how we are aligned around the spirituality.
Because we're doing the same thing.
We are doing the same thing.
Community is our market.
We should be doing the same thing, which is good. But now, because of the confusion, we are so separated. Now, we also now have a community that is stubborn. We don't want to listen to our elders. We don't want to listen to our spirits. And maybe that's because the reason why we don't listen to our spirit guide is because we don't understand their language, because we are not connected to them. We are not connected to them. That is why we won't be able to understand the communication from them. So that makes us also stubborn when you have to then now take advices or teachings from umuntu omdala, like and elderly people. You want to see life and the world your own way. You understand? And then now the greedy part of it. I think everyone wants to be rich. Everyone is running after money. Everyone is running after this good life, because you know, there are idols, but there are people that they are idolizing, people that have money and
they want to emulate and they want their lives to become like those lives.
And they want their lives to become like that. So now, a shortcut.
And then they end up becoming a mess. I want to throw it to you. Let me just hold you. I'm going to throw it one at you. You are here as a woman, and there is the issue of Omotoso, for example, where a pastor ends up sleeping with young girls because there was some spiritual Christian space that is happening there. Now, as a young woman, would you be safe to go and identify a male Gobela to take you through the process? If you do so, what are some of the challenges that young women who end up in the hands of male Gobelas, whether they're right or wrong, that's a discussion for another day. But what are the type of dangers that you are most likely to face as a young woman, and you find yourself sleeping in Dumben, Kamkulu, who is supposed to be helping you to become a Gobela or to become a Sankofa?
It goes back to Lento Ubaba Aikulumile Uguti. We are also confused at some point because yes, minang tosis evela ubaba. You understand? Umuntu wesilisa ubaba mkhanya kuti. So there's a lot of nudity ebungobeni.
Nudity.
Because no, not it's like that. There's where umele ukuthi miyogeza nwenze njani.
No, I'm with you. I'm with you. I want us to be frank.
It depends. Yeah, yes. It depends ku umuntu or it depends ku gobela wako. Discipline Thokoza. There's fundamentals that you need to follow as a igobela. Ukuthi iclose malisebenza sekusebenza iclose that time is the close that's working and you are out of that space. It means by that time something else is working.
But there's a moral don't do's and do's. Where you don't cross it in line. You treat a person.
So it's respect. You need to respect yourself. You need to be disciplined.
And respect your client.
Respect your client. Let it was la lengan with twasisa. Ngoba outwasisi yena as human. Utwasisa it was like so. Everything that you're doing to our pants back spirit sake. So whatever you're doing, it needs to come from immaturity also. You need to be matured as ugobela. And now there's certain things now which also goes back to discipline. Yes, it also goes back to disciplining yourself. You must know why you are there. In the first time, just unga be confused. In the first place, why am I here? Unga se uthola ama fairy tales yokuthi ugobela wami ucute kanjani njani, so manje so uthola ama ideas yokumu now so qala uthokoza mkhulu so yabona so yeah manje so nawe akasakwazi ukwenza
manje sekwendlezini sengapha ebuntwini ke naye ngumuntu naye kumoshakale ke kunyaka
uthokoza mkhulu. So it all goes to discipline and respect.
This is so true when Mkhulu what she's saying, because you know when a person is about to enter the space of Uktwas, I think what I do normally is I take them through a process of counseling. First, before they actually go in. So a couple of sessions, so that now I should be able to see what Lomundo is really
where is their
ready. Where are they?
Where is their space?
Yeah, so that now I can be able to talk. To choose Estebo, am I safe around this person, or is this person safe around?
But exactly.
So what I normally teach them as well, you need to have self-control,
self-respect,
and you need to be disciplined, and these three. It's both ways. Kukobela
must have the same.
You must have the same things. When you treat a patient, you must understand what Lomundulo. It's a patient.
It's a patient.
Yeah.
And this patient. Akazanga nje kuwe
unento emhluphayo
so manje mawusofake like exactly that's where my problem is mina as ugobela. Listen, I'm very young, I'm still young, and as a person, and Oh, yeah, well, I am married. I've got my wife. I've got my family, and so I don't want to find myself in a space where now it's
all over this place.
Yeah, it's all over the space.
The energy I'm gonna
and to be honest with you, there are people that are actually coming to into us, and then they will come with all sorts of things. Hey, this, and then the next thing, you find yourself
in the dream.
In the dream. So those are the type of things that we need to look at as gobelas. We need to be sure is this person sent by abomkhulu nabogogo, and because they look at you, they see you on TV, they see you doing this, because now Obunkoma is so broadly broadcasted. It's everywhere now. So it's no longer a secret.
While you're on that, Mkhulu, I need to be very frank. I'll be coming to you now. We must be very frank, because even lapha enkonzo lapha sikuya khona umama nje uyathi how bandla mfundisi nginenkinga ngicela ungithandazele uthi uyathandazela ngicela ungibeke izandla and before you notice it umthandazo umfundisi usayawumutela akasavakala ukuthi uthini ke mfundisi and before you notice it really ends up in another type of a prayer altogether, because the one who is coming for the prayer is you're no longer sure whether is it ngumthandazo or ngumthandazo ngumthandazo wabantu bagqoka amaphendi or ngumthandazo ufana abantu bakhumela amaphendi ke sokusuka complicated. But in your own experiences uGobela, how long does this process take on a normal base?
A process ithatha isikhathi sedlozi lakho. Okay. As much as idlozi lakho lifuna ukuhlala lingakaboni lutho, there's no way ukuthi ungavela udliswe into aso ungaboni next. That's why ngizobuyela imuva kancane kulento leyishiya umkhulu.
So it takes time, but it would depend as to
on idlozi lakhe lingenile.
When your ancestor wants to now manifest themselves.
Exactly.
So it's not, there's no particular time space here.
That's why abogobela mele before uzofaka ithwasa njengoba bathi counseling, before i-counseling shaya amathambo wakho uzibone wena ukuthi uright lo uye kumele ngimsebenzise la.
Or in some cases, is this person supposed to be with me?
Exactly. That's why kuqala khona kuba nenkinga, because awushayanga amathambo for lo muntu ukuthi
even before you start helping a student or a client to become a traditional or an indigenous healer, you as a Govela apparently they're saying you need to pay or penya or scan, do a full spiritual scan on a client, then you'll be able to know are they here the right reason? Are they the right person? Are you also the right person for them to conduct this ceremony? And in some certain cases, udlisa umuntu intwaso for the wrong thing. Let me say this from my small experience and knowledge, or reading rather. I'm nangitwasanga ke mina. Uthola ukuthi uGobela has not done their research. Uzalwa ngubani wena? Ugogo ngubani? Umkhulu ngubani? Umkhulu ngubani? Umkhulu kagogo ngubani? Umkhulu kagogo ngubani? Bebephila kanjani? Bephila kanjani? Isipho lezi ezikuhluphayo sixhumane nobani. At the end of the day uzo end up wena ufaka umuntu intwaso
ubengamila ngathwasa
entweni vele engakuyiyona is the thing which will harass them. I'm saying quickly here, when it comes to initiating people into these indigenous spaces, the history of the person who is going through the ceremony needs to be equally knowledgeable to the one who is assisting them, because you might end up actually assisting the grandfather to be the one who is in strength when it's actually the grandmother who wants the space, and you end up actually encouraging and you end up creating even bigger problems over the client. And I was just translating what you were saying.
That's why mele mawushayela idlozi mabashayela amadlozi bayababiza.
You call them?
I call amadlozi ngithi wabuza ukuthi ubani umnikazi wesikhwama.
Who is the owner of the bank?
Yabona ukuthi uzokhona ukubona ukuthi idlozi eli powerful yiliphi. So abogobela abaningi abayenzi yonke lento leyo.
Bajahe nje bajahe ku-60,000.
Bashayele lento leyo kanti
bajahe ku-60,000 nenkomo.
Omunye bengamelanga nokuthi uzundlise leyo nkomo, kumele umenzele lo msebenzi lo umdlulise wona ufake lokho buhlalo lokho andlule.
Bazomthola phambili.
Maybe kumele andlulise.
But usually I hear in the olden days, I want you to comment on that one. In the olden days, the one who has a problem, if they are really going to go into the traditional initiation, either it's a dream or it's a disease or there's a particular problem, which will lead them to a certain person. And if things are done properly, the person who is going to be doing the job should also receive the signal.
Yes.
From the one who is coming. Utima ufika nje ukobela umampela athi hawo sakubona makubani. Bebe lapho gogo izolo.
Dala ngiyokumela.
Bathi into yakho izoyenza kanje 1 2 3 4 5. In those cases you have less casualties than umuntu ahambe kuzo uthi angisalale kulamala ngiyenze njani. No, Lord, ngiyenze njani? Before ngiyenze njani uzozithola usenza kanjani.
Yeah, you know what the problem is when I'll still go back to that the greed part. The 60,000 that you want. Like Abu Gobela Manja these days, we are recruiting instead of waiting for.
You are recruiting amatwasa.
We are recruiting amatwasa. That's why.
Because 5.
Only 200 and something thousand.
Yeah.
Ungathena le moto le. And you know le Gucci.
It looks like I'm in the wrong business, guys. These guys, if you just get 5 students.
I'm also in the wrong one. I think I need to review.
Don't.
My business strategy.
You're doing fine. Stay on the clean path. Because less is long as ngolisa ngaphambili. Kuzothi mabo omkhulu wakho nasebekwatile ngale further when they come back for you with the shambok. Bazoshaya wena nengane zakini.
It will be, it will be bad. So what my problem is nowadays is Chinabo Gobela. We convince people. It's like we're recruiting, and social media is actually our platform where it's now easy now to recruit and to convince abantu to come to me. I will help you. And you know, like Umkulu says, in the olden days, you would have your energies should be aligned.
Connecting.
It should be connecting.
I remember in the olden days, even if you are going to see a Sangoma, for example, a proper Sangoma would not even allow you to enter their house. When you are still outside the yard, atifika again in a makampof. Ningasangeni, manini ngapha. Wena ngubani, wena ngubani, wena ngubani, wena ngubani. Nifika ngenga enje. Pindelane ekhaya nekwenza kanje mase kunani ngizobuya ningibona. And you find that the best lo oyenze lo msebenzi, he has actually been informed of who is coming, why are they coming, what do they want, and what must they get before they get into your housing space.
I will tell you, when I'm just to support on what you are saying and to just emphasize it. You know, I will put myself in that situation because I have done that mistake where someone is actually coming to me and I had dreams of you. I feel like you are the person and whatnot. And I did not do
your homework.
My homework. I did not.
You followed their
I
vision.
followed what they were saying.
And how did it end up? It ended up in tears. Sounds like chips.
It ended in tears, you know, and that's one part that I think I regret the most throughout my experience of Oguba.
To listen to
and to fail Idlozilam. Is to fail Idlozilam because I did not listen to them when they were actually giving me signs. And that message did not only come to me; it even went to Abanya Amatwaza that were in that in that group at the time. And then because and feeling pity for this person, now we are Kala, and she really needs the help.
You're not knowing this help will come back to bite you.
And now this help it's coming back to bite me, and I'm sure nae la khona iyamhlupha nae.
Last words to the people out there. With exactly 2 minutes, half a minute for you. What do you want to tell Africa?
Mina, what I can tell Africa Mkhulu is you must always listen to your guides. Let your guides guide you, and then ube a very spiritual person. Give what you want to the universe so that the universe can give it to you.
Wow. Your last words?
Mina emphakathini at large nje ngizotshela nje ukuthi asibuyeleni emasisweni.
Let's go back to our roots.
Let's
not forget who we are.
Yabona kumanje zigcwele izangoma. It's a bad thing to everyone. To me it's a good thing. Because wonke umuntu uyaqala uyasikhumbula ukuthi ubani. So asibuyeleni emasisweni.
Go back to our roots. For you Mkhulu, I'll ask you to give her to part as a short parting shot.
You know, I'll just use what they both said, you know. Let's go back to our roots. Let's go back to who we are.
Wonderful.
And listen to your guides. Listen, connect with Abapansi, with your spirits. Connect with the universe. Listen to Idluzi Lako and never go astray.
I want us to close up with a chant. Just one little chant. All of us here. Yes, so just one little chant in exactly 10 seconds. 10 seconds.
Godala ngizula zula ngizula zula mahala. Ngizula zula mahala. Godala ngizula zula mahala. Ngizula zula mahala. Idluzi lizula zula mahala. Ngizula zula mahala. Ikanda lizula zula mahala. Lizula zula mahala. Inhliziyo izula zula mahala. Lizula zula mahala. Inyawo lami lizula zula
mahala. Lizula mahala. Maponga jeji garambo garamashamba huda chira na wana wanjibo ho kwiro chizukuru bvinya chitizi zvikuru bvicha muchena kuno kwatovera vanachigara mabwe matandana ora chibwe chitedza chine kwigwana wana mamwari pedo vanotamba nacho mutambo uri paro wari vanachigara mabwe matandana ora tisu vana vamuchena hwiro vachiri vemangura navapfuri vayo vana mukanya vana mushamba negore vana makwira miti vanopembere namachira machena vanachiramba kusesera muponango kubeva nemashaku magaro shirana navana vevanji vachiri vemangura navapfuri vayo. Until we see you again, don't do what I wouldn't do. If you decide to do it better. Thank you.